Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining us. My name's Carmen, and today I'd love to be able to chat with you about mindset and being able to build not only a positive mindset, but also a progressive mindset. Um, Not that it's easy to be positive when things are going well, but it also reminds me of the quote of your altitude, so how far you're going to go or how high you would like to be able to go or progress. Your altitude is determined by your attitude. And so my attitude, in the sense of when times are tough or when things aren't going my way, I then need to be able to look at, okay, what do I need to be in my attitude? How do I need to be able to show up? And I have this little card written for myself: this too shall pass. And that's always been a bit easier for me when times have been tough, to be able to remind myself that this too shall pass. But there are also ways that I can be able to help myself be able to show up as the best version of me. Because each of us, each day, have our own energy or vibration around us. And sometimes we can allow others to be able to affect our energy and vibration. And sometimes, who's ever woken up on the wrong side of the bed? And then your whole day proceeds to be crappy. We have control over that, to be able to stop that in its tracks, for ourselves to be able to stop, reassess the situation, and remind ourselves of actually what we are grateful for. So I get in the habit of each morning being able to have 10 gratitudes or 10 things that I'm thankful for. If you have the time to be able to make yourself write them down, I did that religiously kind of thing for 3 or 6 months, really. And I would take that time. I would get up half an hour earlier. For any of you that might like reading, Mel Robbins has a great book. And the message in her book, you can search it on YouTube probably as well, for Mel Robbins is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you get up and you do it. And rather than pressing the snooze button a few times or procrastinating, etc., etc., she just has a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you get up and you do it. And so she also talks about motivation is crap. You just need discipline to be able to do those things. And it's discipline of being able to build our good attitude button, because that's created in the tougher times, so to speak, to be able to build our mindset and build our resistance to allowing other people to lower our energetic vibration or lower our happiness button. So my 10 gratitudes in the morning is super important for me, whether I'm saying it out loud or whether I am writing it down. Another one is either exercise or music or yoga, something to be able to move your body of a morning. That's hugely powerful, because stuck energy or stiffness and things like that in our body is also going to lead to, I know for myself, other different injuries. So go for a brisk walk, go for a jog, do some yoga. I have horses, go outside and obviously doing things with the horses, but something physical. And sometimes that just I was not able to do that. I would be traveling on the road. I was sitting in a car all day driving. So sometimes the moving wasn't possible. But when it was possible, then I made it happen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go and move. So that's been 2 important things that have been helpful for me. And whilst I say I love reading, I also went through a stage where I didn't love reading because I was too busy. And also my mindset wasn't, I don't want to listen to any more positive things. I don't want to think about the future because I'm barely able to get by today, let alone tomorrow. So being able to also build that, to go, okay, what am I going to do to grow my mindset? Because otherwise I'm going to stay in the same place. What's that definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So it was a skill set that I learned to fall in love again. And actually Mel Robbins was probably the deciding factor. She's a very entertaining author, and I listened to it on audio. I think it was like 7 hours. And I did listen to it twice. It was very entertaining. So if you like audiobooks, audible.com is very helpful. You also get your first book free for the month. Otherwise, iPhones and things like that have different audio apps available for you as well. And it's great if you're outside, you're either walking or you're doing things, you're driving. You can do 2 things at the same time. But this is one of the great books that I've also enjoyed. Oops, I don't know if it's on backwards, but anyway, it's Lisa Messenger's Affirmations. Louise Hay has a beautiful affirmations book as well, but some things that can be able to just help me have a focus or a mindset for the day. And I love this one because it says, when you focus on problems, you'll have more problems. When you focus on possibilities, you'll have more opportunities. And that's by Zig Ziglar. And so it reminds me of the gratitudes. Like, everybody has problems. We all do, to varying degrees. But if you focus on problems, we're going to get more problems. But if you focus on opportunities, then more opportunities are going to grow and cultivate from that. So along my line of building my mindset is I think about the language that I'm using throughout my day. How do I talk to myself? Am I talking to myself like I might talk to my best friend? If my best friend came to me, or if you have children, if your son or daughter came to you to be able to ask you for some advice, how do you actually talk to them? You know, usually we talk to them lovingly and supportingly. We use positive words. Sometimes we'll use kick up the butt words where they might need a little giddy up. But being able to be helpful and nurturing and supportive, but also empowering, like, okay, come on, you need to take action. You've got this, you can do this. But sometimes I know for me, when I was talking to myself, I'm like, oh God, you're really crap at that. Or you probably shouldn't do that. I wouldn't speak up if I were you. I'd keep your opinion to yourself. Oh, I wouldn't advertise that course. No, yeah, probably not. You should probably wait till next year for that. Oh my God, look at you. And then we begin to pick on ourselves. Sometimes we are our own worst enemy. Maybe I was on my own with that. I don't know. But I know it was a big thing for me. So I started to also think about talking to myself like I would talk to my best friend, and being able to support myself as much as I would support my best friend. But I also needed to learn some skill sets for that. And so that's where books came into it for me. So I started to watch the language that I used around myself. And then I started to give myself more education. I would ask people what are some books that they've read from a, not self-development, but I don't want inspiration. I want tangible things that I can go out and do. And this one was a great one to get me started in the sense of building my, it's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, but being able to build my mindset in my relationship with money, but also my thought process. You know, I loved listening to this as an audio. It's available on Spotify, and it was free. And just being able to listen to his voice. I don't know when the book was actually written, but it has been revised now. But I just love listening to, he's got like 10 or 14 steps, and he's gone through each one of those. It was so logical, set out, and it was huge on mindset and being able to cultivate that attitude, but also that belief system. So that was a huge, powerful book that I first got into. And then the next one was Rachel Hollis, Girl Stop Apologizing. She's also written a fabulous one on Girl Wash Your Face. And I got told to read this one several times. And I was a bit busy. I put it off on the side for a little bit. But that one was hugely powerful for me when I finally did get around to doing it. And I encourage you to use Audible or iBooks kind of thing. But audio for me was so powerful because I got to smash that out in probably a week. It would have taken me 2 months to read it as a physical book. But she reads it herself. So it was so entertaining to be able to hear her read it herself. But the part that I love the most is she talks about excuses. And hands up if you love using excuses, because I know I do. But she talks about strategies that everyday life that you get to be able to use, and excuses to let go of. I know I was my own worst enemy, and I would hold myself back of either trying something new or being able to step outside my comfort zone. So she not only goes through the 9 excuses that we can let go of. So there's a list. I'm not a goal-orientated person. I don't have time. I can't pursue my dreams, and still be a good mom, a good daughter, a good employee. I can't have both. I'm terrified of failure. I mean, who relates to that one? So she goes through a list of there's 9 excuses, but then the next chapter, she goes through behaviors that you can begin to adopt. So it's tangible things like real life situations that you get to be able to utilize for that. So she not only goes through the behaviors, but then she goes through the skill set. What have you got? What are the skill sets that you can develop each day? So that was a great audio I listened to. And then I just love handheld books and just being able to hold those books. And then this was just it's called Wing It by Emma Isaacs. And she's the founder of a global company called Business Chicks. And I just loved reading the back of her story. So that was really powerful for me to be able to hear about failure and getting back up again. You know, she just shares her trials, tribulation, mum of 4 kids. And they moved to the US from Australia to be able to start the global part of the company. But reading for me has been hugely beneficial to my mindset, and just being able to build that habit and skill set and be easy on myself. So think about the language that you use when you talk to yourself, remembering the 10 gratitudes to be able to build on each day. And then also, as we keep going and progressing through this part of things, is also think about actually reminding yourself to love yourself. I know it's a funny concept, but when you talk to yourself more positively and you're showing up and you're giving it your best, and if you aren't, then love yourself for showing up 50% of the time. Love yourself for showing up 80% of the time. Love yourself for trying. And those kinds of things just keep building on itself. You know, just being able to also look in the mirror and truly look into your eyes or into your heart and being able to go, I love you because you show up. I love you for trying. I love you for, and if you need to give yourself a stern talking to, I know I've done that myself. But those kinds of things are hugely important in our mindset and how we be able to build on it each day. So being able to look at building our attitude, because our altitude of how far or how tall we would like to be able to go and progress towards our dreams and goals is also determined by our attitude. And our attitude is not just when things are going well. Our attitude isn't just the smile on the outside of our face. Our attitude is what's inside of here. And are we being able to just show up authentically as ourselves and still be loved for it? So love yourself first with that. So some little mindset tips and hacks for you to be able to build more of a positive and progressive mindset. Hope that's been helpful for you, and we look forward to seeing you on the next training. Thanks, guys. Bye.